who would like to kick us off? I know Dan has written us a very extensive...
Yes, I've written the entire manifesto. So
Okay.
hopefully I won't hijack the entire thing. But yeah, I do have some thoughts. So I've broken this up into categories, starting with immigration. So immigration is obviously a key issue coming up with this election. And my proposal was to dissolve the public-private partnership with Capita to provide immigration services. And I will institute a new public-private partnership with the website Hot or Not to provide immigration services. And we will then adopt a points-based system, right? So what you do is you add your score to other modifying factors. So I'm thinking you get a +3 from Finland, Denmark, and Norway. Maybe like a +2 from Japan and Italy.
Hang on a second.
Can you see my face?
I'm sensing a bit of unconscious bias in this, right?
Right.
Because I happen to particularly like Eastern women. So why are we privileging Danish women?
Well, didn't you tell me that the Finnish are like the hottest or something? Like there'd been studies done or something.
Oh yeah. Science is science doesn't know shit. Okay.
Science my eyes.
Well, you've got to have a bit of technocracy in there, otherwise
I'm
you
not
won't
saying
get...
we can't have technocracy. I'm just saying that it
I
can
am
be
the
done.
science, Carl. I'm Dr. Fauci. I'm
But it
putting
can-
my foot down here.
I don't think we should be weighting the scales because I mean this is about personal preference. Right?
I saw a documentary called Ali G in the House where they actually trialed this system, but they had somebody standing there saying, like, telling the women if they could come. No men, by the way. Telling the women if they could come in or not, and it does seem like a good system. Like you say with hot or not, you could actually democratize the system by having the faces. But I don't think people should be awarded points based on country because you get munters in Finland.
Well, my thinking was there that then you can apply a negative score to some other places.
Yeah,
but I won't expand on
Well,
that.
if
Scotland.
hang on. Yeah, are we going to let
I'm the most
into England? Well, are they hot?
I'm the most beautiful woman in Scotland.
But the
I can believe it.
Irish women are pretty hot.
Yeah, I like
there-
Irish
there's,
women.
there's a serious argument for not having male immigration, though, right?
Yes.
Because they actually would affect like the economy and stuff like this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so we can only take females, which would also have the really beneficial side effect of making British women up their game.
Yes.
So if it's like, we're just going to let babes from overseas, British women are going to be furious, but also going to be like, okay, well, I better get my makeup sorted. Then.
Because what do you think is going to happen to support for immigration amongst the feminists?
Exactly. They didn't. I bet they didn't approve for Ukrainian women coming across, did they?
No.
What's happening? Oh, we're taking 100,000 Ukrainian women. It's like, wait, what?
But that's the thing. If we're taking, like, people are seeking asylum, why is there such a high preponderance of men coming across and boats are coming across the channel? Are they, what the
don't
women
need
and children stay behind to fight? That's that's ridiculous. So if you took women, it'd actually be much more ethical.
Yeah, I'm totally against male immigration because I'm a feminist.
And hot women do worse in war zones. So by just taking hot women is even more ethical.
Yeah.
We're removing the temptation in war zones and making wars more ethical, as well as improving Britain
it's
too.
responsible policy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also willing to consider an independent royal commission to look at adding things like +1 point for have nice personality or can cook, things like that.
Yeah. Practical skills will be useful.
So I've also got pensions, elder care, and war policies. Now, I put those together for the simple reason that
I've got one stone that's going to kill all three of these birds. What?
Because the Tories have recently put out conscription as an idea, and it polled extremely well with boomers and no one else.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
So the idea is rather than reintroduce conscription, you simply reinstate the old scheme that was cancelled in 1960.
Dad's army.
Well, yes, sort of.
That's what I had in mind,
but you see, the conscription was ended in 1960 when the oldest boomer was 14. Right. So they missed out on that whole thing.
Weird how they're in favour of it. Then.
Yeah, but they're really in favour of it.
Yeah, I know.
So you reinstate it for the years between 1942 and 1960, so you call up everybody between the ages of 82 and 64.
Okay, the only downside I can see to this is that we'll have a bunch of armed boomers wandering around.
Oh, no. All right, policy number 2, immediately escalate the war with Russia. Because my thing is, you just watch these. Have you seen them? They're quite harrowing. The drone attack videos that you see on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
And the Russian soldiers just shooting themselves because they know they're going to get hunted down by it.
It's really gut-wrenching, and I don't think Ukraine should have to go through that alone. If we send the Grey Legion and share the burden, then we're doing our bit for helping that war.
And I'm totally in favour of democracy. I think people should get what they vote for.
Yes.
So if you're going to vote for conscription, good for you. Off to the front. And best of luck.
And it remains to be seen if our supply of boomers can match the drone output of Russia and China.
Well,
but I'm willing to give it a try.
No. We are constantly told by lefty pro-migration types that look, the demographic pyramid is inverted.
Yeah,
we're going to have to, or else the NHS is going to collapse, social services is going to collapse. So okay, well, it really does kill three birds with one stone if we just conscript the boomers and send them over to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do you think a titanium hip would provide protective stats?
Armor protection.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Might show up on radar.
So in terms of how long to run this policy, the other thing that polled extremely well with boomers was lockdown. And that ran for about 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it polled well with them. So I think we keep this policy of the escalation of the war with Russia running for about 2 years.
If that's what they voted for.
And then policy number 3, immediate de-escalation of the war with Russia. Because I don't think you want to see Gen Xers going over there. I'm not up for that.
I would say, yeah. I mean, on the plus side, at least we'd have, pretty much a sort of 10-year window.
Yeah.
The oldest Gen X is, probably about to be conscripted or something. But
I don't think you want to go there. No.
But, the Gen X.
So,
you've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Bit of self-interest here. I'm picking that up.
No, it's a bit of vengeance, really. If you're going to vote for lockdowns and conscription, go on then. Good luck.
Josh, what you've got to think of, Josh, is when you start seeing those images coming back of the boomers being on the receiving end of those drone strikes, it is going to be harrowing, and you can't put a nation through that for too long.
That's true, yeah.
So
we've got to preserve our boomer battalions.
But every single time you see one of those videos, somebody's inheriting a house.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yes.
There's one less house they need to build in the countryside.
Yeah.
But funny you should mention that, Leo, because my next set of policy issues, and it's kind of related to the point that you just made, and I've lumped them all together: economy, finance, housing, NHS, and birth rates. And basically I concluded that if you do the above 2 policy, there is no need for any policy in any of those areas.
Yeah. Solves a lot of problems.
Nature heals.
Right. Moving on to a different thing, national debt and foreign aid. Now, we've solved the economy. We've got the deficit down. We've solved the housing crisis. We're not losing money hand over fist on the NHS, and we've solved housing and birth rates as well with the immigration policy. So all you need to do, I think, on national debt and foreign aid is immediately cancel our debt obligations to any country that has ever sent a chap in a dress to Eurovision Song Contest.
Honestly, I reckon they have conversations like this at the WEF. I bet this is unironically the sort of conversation they have at the WEF. If only we could send all the boomers to war.
Why can't we just, because obviously we're indebted to a lot of different countries, sovereign wealth funds and stuff. Why can't we just be like, we're not paying any of that back? And then...
Well, I think you need some sensible criteria around which ones you don't pay back.
But just don't pay any of them back. Then
you can't not pay the Americans because they're bombers.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
We've got a boomer army.
Yeah. I don't think they will.
It's true.
If they bomb us, they definitely don't get money back. We take a lot of American imports and stuff, so there's still... But I think it's so unfair when Milei took power in Argentina. He had to pay down the debt that was built up by the Peronists, by the socialists, and that's just not fair. I think if you lend money to a socialist, that's like giving a tenner to a junkie.
Here's a good idea: if you're in government, if you borrow money and you leave office with a greater deficit than you had, you've got to pay for it yourself.
I've got something on that. I've got something on that coming up. Right, education. Replace all 11 plus education with a Lotus Eater subscription and an island. Now, you can. In fact, this goes out on Friday, doesn't it? You can still get the Islander magazine for only £15 on our website.
Sorry, I hate to say I have to keep coming back to the Boomer Legion, the Grey Legion, but there are apparently nearly 14 million boomers in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So this makes it about 5 times bigger than the Chinese army.
Yeah.
So actually, if the boomers are so nostalgic for the British Empire, maybe they could, put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And we can actually take that back.
I don't think
some of them will try and claim, well, I've got a dodgy hip or something. But modern warfare isn't that. Modern warfare is going one-on-one with a drone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how fast you run.
Yeah.
Also, I fancy 14 boomers versus 1 Chinese soldier. I think the boomers are winning there, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just overwhelm them with sheer numbers.
Yeah.
A meat assault.
How do the Chinese like it? Yeah.
Overwhelm the Russians with our old folks.
They won't suspect it. It'll take them off
They'll run
guard.
out of ammo eventually.
Right.
Remember Nanageddon, that Marty Boosh episode?
Yes, the Nanageddon.
Yeah.
Right, I've got regulatory environment, culture, media, sport, and cyber terrorism. Again, I'm going to lump all of these together. Right, so what we need to do is we need to protect...
Not the internet?
No. We need to protect the regulators and the BBC and the mainstream media from the ever-growing threat of cyber terrorism. So for those organisations, mandatory typewriters.
Okay, yeah.
Because if they use laptops or computers, they're vulnerable, and I don't think we should take that risk. Same for all the regulatory bodies
Be able
as well.
to hear the BBC office all over London because of all the...
Yep. Yeah, and that will let you know that they're working properly.
That's true, yeah. We'll be able to hear whether they're actually doing their job.
Yes.
And also they'll slowly go deaf, which is, poetic justice in a way.
Right. Welfare and social services. So my idea here is because of course we've got instances where you've got multi-generations of families who've been trapped in the cycle of benefit payments. So replace that with a sort of gladiator-style TV-themed competition, which I think gets them moving. It sort of addresses a lot of their health complaints, and it's a revenue raiser as well. So I like that one. Environment and energy. Generate energy we are burning every government and Quango policy paper and every book with the word social in the title. Generate power that way. And also give the people who don't win their benefits on the gladiators themed competition a giant hamster wheel. Generate power.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe, do you remember in the beginning of Conan Barbarian where they have to push a thing around? I'm thinking something like that. If you want benefits, like, it's manual labor. Right?
Yes.
That's what benefits means. Manual labor, preferably in a slave pit.
Yes.
Crushing wheat.
Yeah,
They used to
reopen.
have that, didn't they? The Victorian workhouses.
Workhouse, yeah.
I love the workhouses. They're great. But you could reopen the mines up north, couldn't you?
Yes.
All the Northerners would be happy. Wales, Cornwall.
And
Corbyn wanted to do it, but I'd love to see all like today's lefties queuing up to work down the pits, like standing there with their MacBook Air and their latte.
No, it won't be the lefties. It'll be the unemployed. Because the thing is, the argument is always, they're not profitable, are they? It's like, it's because China uses slave labor. But if we're using slave labor,
it's not slavery because they get something in return.
Not slavery.
Yeah.
But the point is, they get paid the same, 58 quid a week or something. That's ultra cheap. So we're going to have the cheapest steel or coal or whatever it is on the market. We're going to undercut the Chinese.
Yeah.
Genius.
And also the Chinese are sort of...
on the military front.
Yeah.
It's also a great time for it because the Chinese are sort of going to get caught in that middle income trap. Never get out.
Yeah.
We've also got higher quality minerals than them.
Oh, do we?
That's true, yeah. Welsh coal is known for being particularly good.
Yeah.
That's such a nerdy thing to know. Why do I know that?
Wacko total war game.
We do all this stuff. We restart the Opium War. And then, we're suddenly at the world
to be
parity.
fair,
what's the logic of that?
We've got to do something with 30 million boomers.
But we get ourselves back on top via the Boomer Legion and the reopening the mines and vice versa, right? That strips all the mineral industry away from China. Bring back British steel and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then after about 10, 20 years of that, we're starting to get a bit more muscle. Then we flood the Chinese market with
got an idea
fentanyl
for that.
Or something.
No, we do opium. We do it the old-fashioned way. But because the Taliban have taken over Afghanistan again, and they don't like opium, do they? They don't like heroin, and so we'll offer to buy it off them, unintentionally funding the Taliban. But that's not important. But we buy it off them, and then we turn it into opium, ship it back over to China.
It's the Chinese that are flooding America with fentanyl at the moment, right?
It is, yeah.
We just turn the tables on them. Yeah.
Well, it's the North Koreans that are making crystal meth as well. So why don't we muscle in on that? Start making British meth that's going to be better than the North Korean stuff and get on that market.
Get all our chemistry school teachers to do an hour of mandatory meth making after
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a 3-point plan for foreign policy.
Okay.
Step 1, officially recognise the state of Palestine.
Okay.
Step 2, appoint Richard Tice, the ambassador to Gaza, and the staff of Hope Not Hate can man the embassy.
Why are we doing that?
Step 3, close the embassy in Gaza.
Okay.
Right.
Is that all we have to say about foreign policy?
Yes.
Okay.
That was nice and easy.
I think what's interesting about our foreign, we do foreign aid and we spend billions and it's like, we're so generous. I think it's like whatever percentage of GDP. And
so generous with our money, aren't they?
Well, it all gets spent in the UK because Rishi's got this amazing scheme of letting whoever wants to come here just float up. That all gets spent on, when you see the 4-star hotels, we're actually getting a cut of that back. And it's stimulating the local economy. It's instead of being spent on something useless like malaria nets or something like that for a country that really needs it. It's a really good way of getting charity. And it's like going to Oxfam and just keeping the money in your pocket.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm still obsessed with the Boomer Legions. Like 14.
That is my keynote policy.
14 million army.
14, isn't it?
Yeah, 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a huge number of men.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be about 7 million, wouldn't it?
Why?
You say 14 million boomers, so half of that is women. Or just over half.
Probably more.
Yeah, we're a feminist country, Rory.
Yeah, no, it's the modern age, Rory.
Yeah.
You know what got on my nerves when the Ukraine war kicked off and like the Guardian was running articles about like, oh, this is a trans man who's not being allowed to leave Ukraine and things have to be safe, and like they're saying she has to fight because it's recorded as
just because she has a dick.
As a man. Yeah, no, because it's a trans man, so it's born. It's basically a woman who says, listen, you've all got to treat me as a man now. But as soon as a war breaks out, apparently you continue and you still recognize her as a man, and you're being a bigot because.
But at the same time, they were also putting out articles of trans people fighting on the front line.
Yeah.
Oh, how great is this?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
I mean, the entire war really is for trans rights in Ukraine. So, you're getting what you asked for. Again, democracy works. People should get what they vote for.
Yes.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.